Okay, hey, I'm going to be cleaning the throttle body here. This is where the air comes in into the intake manifold. As you press the gas, this valve in here, or I don't know the technical name, but y'all can see that it actually opens up, and that's what gives you more power. And what happens is carbon builds up on the edge enough to where it stops the idle, and there should be a little bit of space because that flap doesn't sit perfectly perpendicular to the cylinder here. It sits at an angle, and there should be a little bit of clearance on the top and the bottom of it. And so if your car's running kind of rough, this is an easy clean to see if that's what it is. Obviously right now it's a lot easier for me because I have it off and I can clean the back and the front side a lot easier. But so I'm just using some I'm going to just use this stuff, the mass airflow sensor, because it's safe on plastics. Some of these flaps on some vehicles are coated with a plastic film or some type of film on there, and if you use regular brake cleaner or some of this stuff that's not safe on plastics, it will destroy it, and you'll end up having some issues. I don't know what issues, maybe even running rougher or whatever, but anyway. Also, there could be a sensor in there, like here's a sensor in there, that maybe that spray that you're spraying in there is going to hurt it. So basically I'm just going to take a towel, spray the towel, and then wipe it in there, and let's see what'll happen. Okay, seems to be you can see that it is dirty. So I think I managed to clean it fairly decently. So now what I'm going to do is I'll change position here with the camera, and I'll show you how dirty it is from the backside. Okay, so as you can tell, it's still dirty in the backside there. So those little black areas are some carbon deposits and whatever. So I'll clean that the same way. All right, let's see. All right, I think that's as good as I'm going to get this thing. By the way, this gasket, you know, it's going to be replaced. I bought another one. So. Well, I think that's as good as this thing's going to get. Yep. So, as I was saying, you know, when it starts to run rough, I don't know if y'all can see the light. I'm gonna put the light behind, and you can see there's a light shining through. And what ends up happening is the dirt and whatever's coming in here. This pipe right here brings in some of the positive crankcase pressure and puts it in right before here. In the old days, what they used to do with the positive vent pressures, they had like this little cap on one of the valve covers, and it was just let out into the atmosphere. And so as the pistons start moving up and down, as the pistons are moving up and down and stuff, it creates pressure inside the engine, and that pressure can do a lot of damage to seals and stuff like that, and especially if you're going like real fast. And they also use part of that as vacuum, like this is the vacuum line or the pressure that they use for the brakes. That goes connected to the throttle. I'm sorry, to the intake manifold to help when you press on the brakes. Makes it a lot easier. But anyway, back to what happens is as the oil steams up, if you're using really, you know, if you're not using synthetics, and even some synthetics, with time they'll steam, and they that steam will come back through this pipe right here and go right before the intake, and that oil is coming in along with some clean air, and it's getting on this flap here, and it'll start to close that little gap. So there's a gap like this down there, and there should be one on the top. Let's see if I can get it to, there you go, you can see the light coming through up at the top. And so it narrows that gap, and then your car starts to run rough. So this would be one cause of the car running rough. Obviously, could be other things, you know, dirty fuel injectors, bad gas, but this would be just a real easy way to check first, is clean this first. If the rough idle improves, then you know it was this. If you clean this well and the rough idle's still there, then you probably have some other problems, and you probably, you know, need to take it to a mechanic and have them check it out. Alrighty, thanks.